California's Gavin Newsom, okay? California's Gavin Newsom, even he is like, come on, Cracker Barrel, you know, in his new Trump tone. Have you seen this? How he's like totally trying to imitate Donald Trump all the time now? Here we go. What is wrong with Cracker Barrel? Keep your beautiful logo. The new one looks like cheap Velveeta cheese from Walmart. The place for groceries, an old-fashioned term. Fix it ASAP. Woke is dead. Thank you for your attention to this matter. GCN. This is weird, okay? Like at first I thought it was a joke that Gavin Newsom was just trying to emulate Trump and he was trying to be funny. I thought maybe he was trying to poke at him. But now I think it's actually for real. So all his tweets now are in all caps and they seem to have been run through some kind of chat GPT system. And now Gavin just tries to sound like Trump. Okay. You know, they say imitation is a form of flattery, but this is going a little too far. I don't get it. JD Vance weighed in on this. Gavin Newsom trying to sound like Donald Trump, a very inauthentic, cheap, slick little version of Donald Trump.
The dance question.
I mean, look, the autopsy for the Democrats, some free political advice from the President of the United States is stop sounding like crazy people. That really is all it is. I mean, this idea that Gavin Newsom is somehow going to mimic Donald Trump's style, I think that ignores the fundamental genius of President Trump's political success, which is that he's authentic. He just is who he is. You've got to be yourself. You've actually got to talk to people honestly about the issues. I don't think it's that complicated. Don't be a crazy person. Be authentic. If the Democrats did that, they'd do a hell of a lot better. But the thing is, the Democrats really can't help themselves. If you look at the transgender issue, they're still talking about letting, men play in women's sports. If you look at the crime issue, they're calling Donald Trump a fascist for taking action that in 9 days has dropped armed robberies by 55%. So part of sounding less crazy is being less crazy. And if the Democrats were less crazy, I think we'd all get along a whole lot better.
I'm not trying to pick on California because I am a member of the California bar, so I don't get me here.
But California is pretty bad, right? California, which Gavin Newsom is the governor of, has led the way in this woke stuff. So why is he now trying to say that woke is dead? And why is he actually criticizing Cracker Barrel in a tweet that sounds a lot like Donald Trump? It's very, very, very strange. And this strangeness is not even lost on MSNBC, who called Gavin Newsom out for just trying to be a copycat. It's like, buddy boy, who the heck are you? Why don't you decide that and then run for office instead of just trying to imitate somebody else? I mean, it's embarrassing, right?
Democrats are trying to find their footing, and it's quite embarrassing, actually. I mean, Gavin Newsom, have you seen what he's doing online? And say, just take a deep breath. Yep. Don't try to turn the ship 180 degrees and they don't know what to do. I have a good idea. Instead of trying to school Donald Trump, talk into the camera about affordability. Talk about making groceries more affordable. Talk about what you're going to do for housing. Talk about what you're going to do for energy prices that continue to go up. We heard the congressman yesterday talk about energy prices skyrocketing in New Jersey. Don't try. As I've been saying, Donald Trump's not on the ballot in 26. He's not on the ballot in 28. Why try to drag Muhammad Ali in the ring when you got Chuck Wepner standing right in front of you? And Wepner's a bleeder. He's a bleeder. You want him. So why are you going, I'm going after Donald? No, you're not. You're not running against Donald Trump. Go after Tweedledee or Tweedledum. Chuck Wepner, a bleeder. Go after him. No disrespect to Chuck Wepner.
Yeah, all due respect, of course.
He kind of held in there long with
inspired Rocky, many people say.
I think
it's bizarre and it's so transparent and it's so obvious. And it's like, wait a second, Gavin, you want to be the heir to Donald Trump? I think JD has that covered. I mean, maybe Marco, a few other names getting flown about there or tossed about. But it's definitely not going to be you. Like, you've got to represent something different. You've got to remake your party, and that's up to you to try and do right now. But you clearly are struggling. You're struggling so badly that you have to actually copy him. And then, MSNBC actually has to criticize you for it. I mean, that's your home team. What's happened? Justin, do you have any idea what's happened? I'm looking at some of these messages here. Chat seemed to support my idea earlier. Not sure how to implement it. Oh, something about alert. Oh, Justin's talking mechanics here for the show. We'll get to that in a second, Justin, because you make a good point. We need to sign up or have like some kind of link. I'm actually working on a newsletter. I have a newsletter at 76 Research, but a newsletter specifically for this show so that you guys know every single time I am here, because sometimes the alerts work, sometimes they don't. Do make sure that you hit the bell. If you've just tuned in and you want to subscribe, please subscribe. It's really important. We're trying to get to 1 million, guys. I want you to help me get to 1 million subs. Wouldn't that be amazing here on the Trish Regan Show? So I think it's going to happen. It gets harder for some reason. I'm like, I thought it was going to get easier. I don't know why it's gotten harder, but it's getting harder. So I'm fighting for every viewer we can get here on the Trish Regan Show, and I'm thrilled if you're here. Please do me the favor of subscribing. And Justin M., thank you. I appreciate the sort of mechanics. If you would, we need to work on that and get an email out to you guys or some way to sign up so that you know exactly when I'm here live every single day. But I would just say the Democrat Party is really kind of screwed, excuse my French, and they are seeking ways to reinvent themselves. But the answer is not to just be Trump. I mean, I think there's kind of one and only Trump. I've said from the beginning, he's got that je ne sais quoi that very few people in politics actually have. But it's been done. I mean, Reagan had that, right? I'm Bill Clinton. I'm sorry, we're not necessarily Bill Clinton fans over here, but he had that. He liked people. That's actually really important. I don't think a lot of these people like people that much. Biden did, but he also had a reputation for being a nasty SOB right behind the scenes, and also was up against the reality of his age and whatever decline he was and is going through. So Biden wasn't your answer. Kamala Harris was never your answer. I mean, unless she was looking for a job at Cracker Barrel, right? She was never your answer. The only way she was going to get there is if she was checking all the boxes. And again, unless you're working at Cracker Barrel right now, I just don't see that as a winning solution, whether it's on Wall Street or whether it is in politics. So they've got to come up with someone who's standing up for the working class in a way that Donald Trump has promised and is doing. And if they can do that, I think that they're going to be successful. But that same person, one, not only is representing working class Americans, but also has to have some passion and authenticity. You cannot simply say, I'm going to put my tweet into ChatGPT and do it like Trump would and think that that's going to work, because it won't. People see through that. And frankly, Gavin, it's getting embarrassing, for goodness sakes. I mean, I'm embarrassed for you. I know the guy. I've been to, book parties. He wrote a book, I guess, at one point. And don't forget, when I worked at Bloomberg, everybody wanted to come on Bloomberg from the Democrat Party because they were all looking for Bloomberg money, I'm sure, right? So he was on anytime we needed him. He'd come on the show. And as soon as I went to Fox, forget about it. Definitely. It's okay. Like, I definitely didn't really want him on either. But he is, he's perhaps talented, but there's not a lot there. And I think in this new world, whether you're watching the Trish Regan Show here live, and I so appreciate you doing that, whether you're, watching your politicians, you're looking for something, and there's a similarity in what you're looking for. Whoopsie daisy. You better subscribe. I just hit an upside down subscribe button on the air. You're looking for authenticity so that you feel like you know someone and that they have a set of values that they're true to. And I don't know as Gavin has that, frankly, because I think he wants to be in politics, and he wants to be in politics so badly that he's willing to sacrifice himself however needed, right? Because you don't just suddenly turn into Donald Trump. That's bizarre and embarrassing for you. Again, reminder to subscribe. I love having you all here, and I'm just looking at some of your notes. Justin, I promise you, we're working on that. We're working on that. Actually, one of my producers was suggesting that. So we will try and make that happen sooner rather than later. I appreciate all you guys do, the last Boy Scout wing, and as well. Gifted memberships would be a boost for the channel. I don't know how to do that. I have to find that out. You know who else has mentioned that, by the way, is Dawn. Dawn Backus says that too. So let me do a little due diligence. You know, I would say this is going to keep me young because it's requiring me to learn new things like technology. I mean, think about it. I used to go and I had like a team of a zillion people, and somebody would turn on the microphone and the lights and the cameras, and, you know, you had a whole team producing, and my only job was to, you know, well, I actually wrote everything. I actually wrote everything on my show, which is worth you guys knowing, even the intros. And the only thing I didn't write were the teases, because I just want to give it all away. Like, I'll tell you everything right away. And they're like, no, you got to like craft the tease so that you like hold on to something so that people stay through the commercial. I wasn't very good at that. So I used to outsource that to a very talented producer. And I'd let him take over on that. But on everything else, you know, basically I had a hand obviously in the editorial direction, and I did write all my own intros, which is unique and unusual in the business. I just felt like nobody could really get my tone of voice better than, me, right? But I would say that I had a huge infrastructure around me. And I don't have that now. Like, you know, we've got a couple people, and they're awesome, and we all work really, really hard, but it's a totally different thing. And I joke that it's going to keep me young because I have to keep learning new things, right? The technology is moving so fast. So one of those new things that I have to learn with all of you is, or with my team, is the email thing. So we'll get that. I have it at 76 Research, but it's kind of a different product, a different company. Please do go over there. Do sign up at 76 Research and make sure that you take advantage of some of my financial knowledge, as well as my dear friend Rob's financial knowledge. He's brilliant. I'm not too bad myself, and we seem to know what's going on in these markets. I'll tell you, I told you this would happen with Letitia James. It's not market oriented, but I told you there was no way that this $500 million thing was ever going to stick. I also told you that MSNBC is going to be up against a whole lot of problems, especially with this spinoff, because Comcast can't get away from that company fast enough. And let's just face it, I'm not sure that everybody on that network is actually writing their own copy, shall we say, or writing their own intros, or could possibly plug in a camera or a light or a microphone or anything else, right? And has probably no interest in staying young the way I do. So it's a different game, but things are changing, and because they're changing so fast, there's going to be a group of people that kind of get, you know, left behind. And I think that's the mainstream media. I know that's the mainstream media. Things can be done much more cheaply, much more authentically, and there's a realness here that you're just not going to get over in those other places. So do me the favor of subscribing, sharing. Let's get to 1 million together, and then, you know, the sky's the limit. Then I think we really get unleashed, right? Thank you for all you guys do. I'm going to see you back here live again tomorrow. It is good to be home. It is so good to be home. We can talk a little bit more about that too. I'm going to put up a bunch of pictures on my Instagram account as well as here on YouTube, so you'll see some of that. And we're live again. Make sure you hit the bell tomorrow.